Hey, I'm Kevin Van Dam, and I'm going to tell you that I love to fish crankbaits. And as an Elite Series angler, you know, you've got to get every bass into the boat if you want to, you know, be able to win against these guys. It's that competitive out there. So, you know, for years I've always been looking for the ultimate crankbait hook, you know, the hook that is the end-all be-all. And I finally, over a lot of years of, you know, trial and error and trying different things, I think come up with one of the very best that's out there, and it's really the answer for most of the crankbait situations that I'm going to throw. The new Elite Series treble is what I'm going to fish. What I found is that hook flex and having a hook point that rotates away from the fish, his mouth, when you put pressure on it, is what causes you to lose a lot of fish, or what allows them to throw it. So that's why we came up with the triple grip design in the first place, is that when you pull on just one hook point on a triple grip, it wants to penetrate right past the barb, where if you use a regular standard round bend treble, the hook wants to rotate away, or it wants to pull away. And then if the hook point flexes at all, you're just not getting any penetration. So what we came up with is the new Elite Series treble, and it's really an extra short shank version of the triple grip in an ultra point with a black nickel finish on it, which gives it some extra strength. It's one extra strong in wire size. So, you know, for the fishing that we do, and especially now that we're using lower stretch lines, you know, so much of everything that we do now, I mean, I crank exclusively with fluorocarbon and sometimes even braid. So you don't have near as much give in your line to make up for it. And if your hook flexes, you're going to lose fish. So, you know, this hook is built with that in mind. You know, a square bill crankbait like this, and this is a bait that comes out of the Strike King custom shop. It's real short, fat, squatty bodied bait. I can put 2 number 2s on this. If I had to use standard round bends, 2 4s would be as big a hook as I could go with. And, you know, if you're throwing around laydowns and using 20-pound test line, you hook a 4 or 5 pounder, they're going to straighten those hooks right out, especially if he takes you into the cover. So this hook design with the hook points that turn back in a little bit, but with the shank being so short and with that wide gap that's there, you don't give up anything of your hook ability, or, you know, the ability to catch those fish that are just kind of slapping at the hook, but you really gain a lot in strength. Once they start, these hook points start in, they just go straight in. You can see it when you pull on it with just one point like that, where a round bend, the hook would want to kind of rotate away. With this one, it penetrates right past the barb. And again, the hook's plenty strong that it's not going to straighten out. I can throw, you know, 17, 20-pound test line, hook a big fish around heavy cover, and it's going to stay on there. The other real advantage of the short shank is that it allows me to put bigger hooks on a standard size bait. You know, lipless crankbaits are one of the baits that a lot of people have problems losing fish with. You know, and I learned a long time ago that the triple grip is the absolute only way to fish a lipless crankbait. But due to the design of our original triple grip, you just could not put standard or even large size hooks on the bait without them tangling. So on a half-ounce red-eye shad like this, I can rig 2 number 2s on there, and, you know, if I'm fishing at Lake Guntersville and ripping this bait out of the grass with braided line or with 17 or 20-pound test fluorocarbon, this hook is going to be plenty strong enough that when I get a 7 or 8 pounder, or heck, you never know, there you might catch a fish over 10, they're not going to straighten that hook out. Most importantly, the hook point's not going to flex, and it's not going to allow them a chance to get off. So, I mean, for every bait that I've got out there, it's going to allow me to put bigger hooks. I can put 2 number 4s on a little bait like this 1XS, and they're very compact, they're real strong, and that's where I've really found that these hooks make a big difference, is when you're really like finesse crankbait fishing or jerkbait fishing for big smallmouth, things like that, where those fish are tough and they pull hard and they straighten hooks out and bend hooks. These hooks are really, 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 really strong. I mean, and that's what I was looking for, and that's why I wanted to come up with this design. I've been asking for it for years, and finally we have the technology to make that hook extremely short. And then again, you match it with the Ultra Point technology that Mustad has, and it's going to penetrate right into their mouth. And once they're locked onto that, it's lights out.